We built this city on rock and roll.
Replace rock and roll with rock and oil, and you have Abu Dhabi, capital of the UAE, one of the world's richest oil nations. But could this country, addicted to oil, become leaders in renewable energy? The former president of the Maldives, Mohammed Nasheed, who 5 years ago held a cabinet meeting underwater to highlight the threat of climate change to his country, says oil nations hold the key to finding alternative energy solutions.
I think the fact that they are doing it here while they have all the reserves, oil reserves here, speaks a lot about them. In my view, it's very important that for oil countries to be doing that. Abu Dhabi, of course, is leading it, but now we are seeing the same thing happening in Saudi Arabia as well, and many oil-producing countries. If oil-producing countries are unable to think about energy futures of the world, I don't think there'll be anyone else who could do it better.
At the World Future Energy Summit, Canadian company Corvus Energy is displaying their new invention. They say it's the world's most efficient battery, which is being used to power the biggest hybrid electric ferry. They believe the UAE is the place to set up and expand.
It's very obvious that people in the UAE are very aware of the global demand for clean energy. While they have profited immensely from the oil that's in the ground, they are very forward-thinking in terms of the idea of producing clean energy for where it's available for their own use.
They are the kind of innovators Abu Dhabi's Masdar city is seeking to attract. The city, when built, will be like no other, as it will have a zero carbon footprint and run entirely on renewables.
We're leading the way to show how you can use renewable energy in a post-carbon environment. And we are future thinking in order to look at what will happen as carbon energy becomes more expensive and scarcer, so we can develop alternative energy sources, particularly solar and wind, so that we can maintain a quality of life both within the region but globally.
In the Masdar Institute, research assistant Reda Hussain is trying to make fuel out of algae.
Those are local species. We grow them here. So we're adding some air. Then afterwards, we're trying to do some biogas experiment. We're trying to see the potential of biogas production from those biomass. And right now, until now, it seems to be that they're producing good quantity of biogas.
But the Masdar City project was launched 8 years ago, and it's still relatively small and, apart from the students, largely empty. The project was basically halted when the economic crisis hit the UAE. So how healthy is the market for renewable energy? Can it only survive in the economic good times?
Bloomberg New Energy Finance tracks the amount of capital in the sector, and the trend has been going up, even though last year there was a slight dip, but the trend is going up. But we still recognise that we need at least a tripling to quadrupling of the amount of money going into investment in the renewable energy sector globally, really, to be able to address the problem.
But what about the demand side of the equation? Here, a litre of petrol is almost as cheap as a bottle of water. If the UAE was really serious about increasing its use of renewable energy, why doesn't it tax its petrol and make it more expensive?
I think it's not so much about changing people's habits in the next year or two. It's about setting a green print for the future. So at Masdar City, what we're looking to is integrate how you get around cities and how you won't need your own personal car. And that vehicle that gets you from A to B will not be powered by fossil fuels. So I agree, there is a challenge. We're meeting it. It's a transition, and we are looking for alternatives.
The UAE aim to generate 7% of their energy needs with renewables by 2020, which is average for the region, but it's only a fraction compared to countries in the rest of the world. The sun won't be setting on oil anytime soon.